Hello, humans. It's been a long ass time. I've forgotten how to be on camera. That's part of it. Forget all that. So I've been working on these boxes. These is taped off so that the finish doesn't get between the top and base and glue it together. So we're going to be working on this. It has occurred to me as I was sitting here working on this project that I haven't been recording that you wouldn't know from my actions that I actually want a following. I'm the kind of creator who likes to vanish into a hole and make 1,000 mistakes, but end up with a really cool product that I then emerge from the hole and go, ta-da! I get nervous about bringing people along for the journey, but the creators that I admire most. Let's go with the light levels. Maybe if we do this. Let's try that. What was I saying? Ooh, I can't paint with that. Sorry, guys. It's just going to have to be that. Ha. The makers that I admire most are the ones that do bring their community along for the creative process. And I want to be someone I admire. So, can't really start with this project because I didn't record any of it, but holy shit was it a process. Okay, like acquire cigar boxes, clean them out, clean them off, cut a cardboard insert, thin cardboard, measure and cut the divider to go on the inside. Boom, like that. They were all different because they're all different cigar boxes. So I had to measure and cut all of those. Well, Jason cut the wooden ones, the wooden dividers for me. Glue the dividers to the cardboard. Glue some batting to the cardboard. Cut out fabric, glue it to the divider, and then iron it to the batting because it had an iron-on interface. And then tuck in the edges and hot glue those down. And then hot glue a ribbon to the underside and then singe the ribbon ends so that we have these ribbons in here that will help lift up the cards when they're stacked. And then select this insert and put it in there. And then go into Photoshop and learn how to use the 3D function so that I could turn the logo into a 3D object and then move that around in various programs until I had it ready to print on a resin printer. And then I had to print it in 5 pieces, and then I had to put those together with CA glue, and then I had to sand them and trim the flashing and spray paint them gold because I wanted them to match the hardware, and then Mod Podge the crap out of a nice piece of scrapbooking paper and then glue the logo to the paper and Mod Podge it again because you really don't want resin to be getting into the edges of your paper because it'll stain it. And then you do a resin pour. Well, actually, then you glue the whole thing to the box and weigh it down so that it's really solid of a connection, and then you do a resin pour. And at some point, I think I skipped saying this step, at some point you have to sand off any like logos and stuff, but there's some logos that are like way too, see, this isn't finished yet, that can't be sanded off without going through several layers of the paper because it's stamped really thick. So you design and print a nice thing to cover it up. This one doesn't have the side ones. Oh, this one does. See, side ones, front, side. Very pretty. Makes it look deliberate. I only did that for the ones that had that branding that I couldn't sand off. But then, okay, so you've got all these sanded patches, so you've got to match the finish or come up with a new one. And I don't have wood stain, but I do have acrylic paint. So I sort of cobbled together acrylic paint wood stain and then did a few layers of polyurethane. And then, oh, I don't have the rhinestones for it yet, but I'm going to drill out these electron spots and put little rhinestones in, and then done. And every single one of those, oh, there we go. It's gold ink. It's a lot more legible in person. There we go. Then you're done. Every single one of those steps I've done like 3 times per box because things rip or they stain or they break or the whole thing is a learning curve, and it's a catastrophic learning curve, and it's all I've been doing for, I don't know, decades. Probably 3 weeks, maybe 4, but it feels like decades. I want to hurl them into the sun. I am so fucking sick of them, but I always get to that point with any long-term project, and that usually means we're approaching a finish line, and all I need to do is grit my teeth and not be ashamed of hating what I'm doing. Anyway, obviously, I didn't record any of that, and I'm sitting here thinking anyone aware of my work is going to believe that I'm some kind of recluse who doesn't want to, oh my god, who doesn't want anyone involved in their creative process. So if they're not reaching out to me to say, hey, I like your stuff, it's probably because they are, respecting my privacy. I am not a recluse. I am an extremely extroverted person. I'm just also an insanely hot mess, especially when it comes to my art process. Like, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I've been a working artist for my entire adult life, and I don't have a clue what I'm doing. And it isn't that I mind anyone seeing that, it's that I can't be in that place and remember to record and edit and post. So this video is my attempt to get back in the groove, to lubricate the neurons that remember to bring y'all along for the ride. Maybe it'll work. I do know that we're just right now waiting for the stain to dry. Oh Lord, how did I do that? Okay, the other problem I keep running up against is that I don't have enough storage space for this much video footage. Like, I took some footage of a painting process for the unofficial walk to Mordor. I actually filmed that stuff, and then I ended up deleting the footage because I wasn't doing anything with it. I wasn't throwing it up on TikTok or whatever like I had initially thought I would, and I refuse to pay for storage in Google. I refuse to do it. I'm like, nope. And I would have downloaded all the videos and kept them for, just in case, but I was actually out of town when I realized I didn't have that none of my photos were backing up. And I needed my photos to back up because my child was frolicking in a swimming pool, and that was more important to me than hanging on to footage of painting. I tell you what, though, I never did finish the Lord of the Rings, the painting project. I was doing a sort of stencil painting. Go to the unofficial Walk to Mordor Facebook page if you want to see them. They're really cute. And I send them in postcard form to members as and when they walk far enough to have got past those landmarks. There's 1,000 great Tolkien illustrators. I'm not one of them. But what I am is funny. So some of them are things like Emin Will, probably the wrong way, or Bamfurlong, your shortcut to mushrooms, that kind of thing. Hell, I'm probably not even the first funny Tolkien illustrator, but I do not mind belonging to a demographic rather than just being some kind of weird little prodigy. I just want to be one of the cool kids. And I was watching just photos from Open Sauce the other day, and just pining in my heart, like, I want to meet these people. I want them to know what my name is. I want to hug Evan and Caitlin and Adam Savage, and like, who wouldn't? Mark Rober. And then I was like, but I'm not doing anything to accomplish that. I feel like someone who wishes they could win the lottery but never buys a ticket, So yeah, here we are. I like being where I'm at. I just want you to be here too. And so here you are, assuming I get around to posting the footage. Such a process, right? The number of steps required to make these boxes is nothing compared to the number of steps required to live the life you dream of. And half of them are super fun and exciting, and the other half are just a fucking slog. That's not a revelation. Everybody who's ever achieved anything knows that half the process is just fucking busy work. Or worse than busy work, making a mistake and going back and correcting for it. There's this phenomenon I call harpo face, which is shorthand for if you ever watched a Marx Brothers movie, you know that at least once per movie, there's a scene where Harpo gets to sit down at a harp, and it's weird because it's like they're in the middle of a chase scene, and he runs past a room that has a harp in it, and he goes in and he starts playing. Harpo Marx had a very, very animated face, like cartoonishly so, very famous for it. But when he sat down at the harp, his face would go to a place it's hard to find words for. The animation would leave the face, but it wasn't slack or there's a point when a person is so into what they're doing that their awareness of their face goes away, and what we're left with is a completely natural expression that's very like Greek statuary. But I just call it harpo face because what's interesting about it is that the more animated a person's face usually is, the more wild their expressions are, the more profound the change is when they go into the zone. Sometimes I can feel my own face go blank, and I'm like, oh yeah. It's not my only weird terminology. I call people elevator people if they're the kind of people who are really difficult to get to know because they're introverted or shy. And elevator people is short for people that you could only get to open up if you were stuck in an elevator with them for 5 hours. I have known several elevator people. Once they do open up, they are fascinating to listen to. Always worth the wait. I've never actually been stuck in an elevator for 5 hours with anyone, but there's other like equivalent isolated together kind of experiences. This is me buying the lottery ticket. And if, as tends to happen, I get 12 views, hi 12 people, I love you. Love you enormously. Hugs and kisses, because you're probably people I know. If you're not someone I know, hugs anyway. But I tend not to kiss strangers. Just not anymore. Back in the day when I was a Denny's rat, we came up with all kinds of mad slang to use to make ourselves even more difficult for the rest of the world to follow. And one of the ones that stuck with me that I still use to this day, we got sick of asking what's on your mind or what are you thinking when there was a lull in the conversation, like penny for your thoughts, all that. We got tired of it. So we were like, we're going to just assign a random word and it'll mean that. And the word we chose was goldfish. No reason that I can remember. Goldfish. I still say that. If there's a gap, a pause, or I see someone looking particularly thoughtful and I know they'll understand what I mean, which is basically Jason at this point. Nobody else uses this slang anymore, but be like, hey, goldfish. I'm not going to do another code right now because I'm gonna mess it up. Because when you paint over tacky things, you create lumps and you make your life so much harder. There's a few that are done. I'll show you. And I think I'll put little yellow rhinestones. Because yeah, that's just I'm not sure yet. We'll see. And this one and the one I just showed you, they don't have the little plaque because I was worried that would make it difficult to open and shut them. But I really like this fabric. And I'll get a much more professional looking finished pictures of them all at some point. That's got the thing. I made sure they were all boxes that had clasps that would close. And some of them have the like glitter and stuff. Focus. We're gonna wait for that to dry. We're gonna go get some lunch. And if you're watching this, it means that I actually managed to get it edited and posted and, pat on the back. Thanks for joining me in the art cave for some slog work and rambling. Please, oh dear God, please leave a comment if you saw this. Otherwise, I feel like I'm flinging meringues into a black hole. But leave a comment. Let me know if you liked rambling or if you'd prefer something a little more structured. Any feedback from you would be welcome. What did I used to say? I never wanted to say like and subscribe. Leave a message at the beep.